Coach Stephanie White of the Indiana Fever goes on the Good Follow podcast and talks about Caitlin Clark's development, her techs for next season, at least like what she wants them to be, and a lot more of the Indiana Fever.
Indiana coach Stephanie White is cooking up something great, and Caitlin Clark is in the middle of it. White isn't just making small changes to Clark's play, she's rebuilding it from the ground up, like a master builder making a plan for success.
We have an exclusive sit-down interview with the new head coach of the Indiana Fever. She was the 2023 WNBA Coach of the Year, an NCAA champion, a baller herself, a WNBA champion, and my former broadcasting teammate. What's up, Stephanie White?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm good. It's so great to have you on the show, Steph.
While some players are more interested in posting planned workouts to get more likes, you, Angel, there isn't anything flashy about Reese White's goal to make Clark an unstoppable force. It's all about the basics, and White isn't just boosting Clark. She's also putting players like Reese in their place before the season even starts. White's goal is to bring out Clark's natural brilliance by getting rid of the few predictable habits in her game and unlocking her full superstar potential. If you're excited to see Caitlin on the court again, leave a comment below.
So, in watching Stephanie White talk about Caitlin Clark's development, it was very fascinating to get her take on it as an actual coach.
One of the first things White does is change Clark's go-to moves, which are right-hand drives and lefty drives. Clark's step-back threes, which defenders have started to expect, have been her main weapons. But White thinks that everyone is now one step ahead because they have the scouting report. They are working on improving her footwork, finishing touches at the rim, and how she moves without the ball. What we're seeing is a complete skill refresh, the kind that can turn a great player into an unstoppable one.
I think from just a straight basketball perspective, making sure that we help her diversify, her finishing ability, diversify in the way that it's not predictable, to be able to be equal in terms of production and facilitation.
This all-around plan for developing players isn't just words, it's already beginning to take shape. And don't forget that Clark isn't just changing. She's moving up to a new level that could completely change the WNBA.
We already know that Caitlin has put on some strength and muscle. She had that viral picture.
Yeah, you saw that, yeah.
You may have seen that photo of Caitlin Clark going viral, where she looks absolutely jacked with muscle tone. Fans were wondering if the photo was fake, but Coach White put an end to the rumors in one sentence. Those muscles are 100% real, no filters, no Photoshop, no AI. They're the result of a lot of hard work during the offseason.
I asked her if it was Photoshop.
She said it was AI.
And just so you know, Clark has been in the lab. Think superhero montage meets real-life Go training. That change isn't just for show, it's a sign that she's getting ready for war next season. This is about surviving in the WNBA jungle, and Clark is coming back stronger, faster, and more focused than ever before.
What aspects of her game would you like to work with her on for this season?
Yeah, I mean, certainly getting stronger was one. The level of physicality in the W is totally different. That's the way that teams have to try to keep her off balance.
Her strength gains are also related to one of the hardest things she had to deal with as a beginner during the season. Opposing defenders often bumped her off her spot, messed up her drives, and used their strength to throw off her rhythm. White saw it, Clark felt it, and now she's doing something about it. The result is a tougher, more grounded Clark, who is no longer getting thrown around by bigger guards or wings. This change isn't just about looks, it's about strength, durability, and dominance. You'll see Clark holding her ground like never before this year.
Keeping a low center of gravity. There are times where she plays a little bit upright, making sure core strength and her ability to move with time under tension and stay in a low center of gravity is important. Lateral movement, like one of the challenges that we're coming to her with right away is on the defensive end of the floor. Use your size, use your length. You've got to that's got to be a priority, right? That's got to be a priority to play both ends, because we don't have to go from 11 or 12 to 1 or 2, but we got to get to middle of the pack.
Now things get even more exciting. Clark isn't just going along with the plan, she's living in it. White said that Clark learned basic drills so quickly that it surprised the coaches. On day 1, they worked on balance, spacing, and footwork. By day 2, she was already adjusting like a seasoned vet. White didn't hold back when he said that Clark is a perfectionist, and her drive to improve is unwavering. He even compared her to Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba. That's how intense Clark's focus is. That photo that went viral is more than just muscles. It's a sign of a deeper change. It's not about getting bigger to get more likes on Instagram. She's strengthening her body to do well in a league where contact is constant and strength is currency. She's not just getting ready to live, she's getting ready to dominate.
I think from just a straight basketball perspective, making sure that we help her diversify, her finishing ability, diversify in the way that it's not predictable.
Now that we know Clark is at the gym changing her DNA, let's look at Angel Reese's off time. Clark is training in silence, working out hard in the gym, and making changes to her game with surgical accuracy. Reese posts over-the-top workout videos on social media. We've seen those three-point videos that were highly edited, polished, and curated for the timeline. But Coach White is really working on real growth behind the scenes.
Angel Reese, back in the gym, working on her pull-up, bang. Working on her midi, working on her mid-range game, 15 to 17 feet out, being able to create some space for herself. Yes, this looks embarrassingly slow. No, it is not in slow motion. This is just what we have to work with right now.
Clark's grind isn't just for show, it's for the scores. And Coach White's method isn't just about fixing things. A few habits. The goal is to make Clark an unguardable weapon. One day she'll drive left, the next she'll hit floaters, and by the third she'll be dishing out no-look assists from a fake out you didn't see coming. Clark is becoming the WNBA's version of a chess grandmaster who thinks 5 moves ahead and plays the long game.
9, let's get it! Knockdown! Bang! Man, we got a fire on the poop deck. Watch out, watch out, watch out! 4, bang! Mayday, mayday! Clear the runway, brace for impact. AR-5 coming in heavy! Bang! Look alive, sunshine. Long 2, will it go through? Ha, no chance. Bang. Is it me, or is there only 2 rows behind the bench and they're like half full? I get better attendance on Monday nights in my men's league. Come on, man! Bang!
With White guiding her growth, it's not just Clark who is getting better, she's also becoming something more of an offensive engine who can score at 3 different levels and set up other players. That kind of player doesn't just change a team, they change the league.
We got some footage from in the lab. That's right, she's in the damn gym. I'm just gonna keep it real. I guess hell has frozen over, but she is in the gym practicing shots. And as you can imagine, there's real reaction to this.
So while Angel Reese may be after power and Caitlin Clark may be after fame, Stephanie White is in charge of the ship. Indiana has the most dangerous pair of basketball players. But here's where the story really gets interesting. White is only just beginning as a coach. Strength is one part of the puzzle. The other part is strategy. As Clark's rookie season went on, it became hard to ignore a pattern. She was becoming too predictable. Smart defenders started to notice her signature moves, like the right-hand drive and the left step back, and use them against her.
She's back in her natural habitat, back in the lab, playing basketball, and it's got to be a scary sight for the rest of the WNBA if she gets even better, because it's not as if she wasn't absolutely phenomenally elite as a rookie and arguably the best player in the league after the Olympic break.
By the end of the season, it was like watching a chess game where the other player already knew what moves to make. White is now working on changing Caitlin Clark's opening moves so that she is less predictable. On the Good Follow podcast, White laid it all out, saying that Clark's most exploitable trait was favoring her right-hand drive and stepping back left for shots. This worked early on, but in the WNBA, elite defenders watch hours of film, so you need to change or get shut down, and White isn't going to let Clark be predictable for a second longer.
To hear, because everybody knows the thing with Caitlin that made her so good was that everyone knows what she's doing and they can't stop it. If she's going left, she wants to shoot the step back. If she goes right, she wants to go to the basket. And yes, there are times that she can kind of fade away a bit over the right shoulder, or she can make a kind of move going right and slow down, speed up. She's very, very good, quick first step, and runs so well in transition.
For Caitlin Clark, as her first season went on, a troubling theme began to show itself. In Clark's last 10 games, defenders blocked her go-to step-back jumper 22% more often than they had in her first 10 games. It was clear that teams had figured out the playbook. As the season went on, Clark's offense started to hit a wall. Smarter, more prepared defenses quickly caught on and loaded up on her right hand, shading it left to block her step back. Suddenly, the moves that had once been the stuff of highlight reels were being swatted away by smarter, better prepared defenses. That's why Stephanie White was so successful. The head coach of the Indiana Fever has put all of his power into re-engineering. White is working hard on one part of Clark's game at a time to make her unguardable. She's focusing on her left hand in particular to help her dribble better and finish at the rim with poise and control, no matter which side she attacks. It may seem like a small change, but in the WNBA, the difference between a predictable and impossible to guard is often very small. Once Clark can go both ways effectively, the defensive map changes and defenders lose their cheat code.
Doing a Euro, which at that point, it had hit me that I have never thought about Caitlin Clark doing a Euro. But you know what? I have to call this.
But Coach White isn't content with lefty layups. She's also giving Clark new tools to use. With a fully stocked arsenal, including the Euro step, Clark storms down the lane with the newfound strength she's gained in the weight room. The defender braces for contact, but Clark glides past with a smooth, sudden Euro step and finishes with either hand. That one addition could be the game changer that gives Clark the edge she needs to keep defenders guessing and highlight reels spinning.
This is like the cream of the crop. They are going to catch on to the idea that she doesn't like to drive left. She always wants to drive right because she's right hand dominated. And when she does her step backs, she likes to step back and go left. So I did see in some of her workout videos the practicing of her developing a left hand. I saw her stepping right. So these are all great things to be developing for an already elite player.
The best part is that White Clark says this isn't just a pipe dream and is already making progress with. That's not just encouraging, it's scary, because when Clark becomes a dual threat in the paint, defenders can't just push her in one direction. They'll have to play her straight up. And Clark only needs that split second of hesitation to tear up a defense like it's Thanksgiving dinner.
To be able to be equal in terms of production and facilitation, going right and left, to be able to have different types of finishing looks, whether it's, crossbody finishes, whether it's floaters at the rim, whether it's quick floaters, long floaters, Euros. You can't quite be as fundamentally predictable with as much athleticism, speed, quickness, and as much as the game plan is going to be geared toward her.
White is more interested in Clark's engine and the energy problems that come with it than in her tricks. It's no secret that by the fourth quarter of last season, Clark's legs were often worn out, her jumpers went flat, her passes lost their zip, and the Fever's offense lost its edge. At times, she looked like she was running on fumes, and with all that pressure on her shoulders, who could blame her?
And then I think the challenge for us as coaches is how do we get a rest when she's on the floor while she's playing, right? Like while she's on the floor. And some of that's going to be playing off ball, utilize her as a screener.
Coach White saw the same thing, but she didn't freak out. Instead, she went back to the drawing board and came up with an answer. Isn't just to give Clark more rest, it's to change how she's used. One of White's biggest ideas is to move Clark away from the usual spots where she can be a threat without the ball. She won't be standing at the top of the key or camping out in the corner anymore. Instead, Clark will attack from strange angles, cutting into third and fourth side actions where defenses won't see her coming.
Getting her into action on the third and fourth side instead of the first and second, where it's easy to game plan against. Now, how we use her to help everybody else be better off the ball, we know how great she is with the ball in her hands. We're not going to take that away, but we've got to be able to diversify a bit in how we use her.
This isn't just fancy basketball talk. It's a game-changing change. Clark is already very good with the ball. Think how hard it would be for the defense to find her after she sneaks behind a screen or cuts a back door while they're focused on something else. She's no longer just a playmaker. She's a stealth weapon.
As well. I mean, we've got like a short-term kind of list and we got a long-term kind of list, but Caitlin, I remember from the very first day when we were working on balance and we were working on footwork and we were looking at all those things, from day one to day two, she had it.
Wow.
Like she's a perfectionist and she wants it and she's going to work on it. So that long list might get shorter every day we're in practice.
The Steph Curry effect. White has copied Golden State's strategy by using Clark as a screener. It may seem silly to use your best shooter to set screens, but that's the genius of it. When Clark screens, defenses have to make a terrible choice. If they switch, Clark can torch a slower defender off the bounce. If they don't, the player she screens for gets a clean look either way. It's a nightmare situation, and Clark doesn't even have to have the ball in her hands all the time.
Very true, because she's going to get burned out. So I think that, and you know, Caitlin Clark mentioned wanting to play off ball a little bit, but I think it's true that having her play off ball is going to give her a little bit of a rest, and that makes her game more sustainable. She doesn't burn out as much.
This strategy has a huge impact. It not only gives Clark much needed energy, but it also not only makes her more useful as a reserve during the game, but it also makes her more important in the fourth quarter, when superstars are supposed to shine. Most importantly, it gives the Fever a dynamic offense that's hard to spot, harder to defend, and almost impossible to guess. But the real magic is in the transformation, coach, not the strategies. White isn't just building plays around Clark, he's also shaping her into a whole new kind of star. One who can start, help, finish, and disappear, only to reappear exactly where defenses don't expect her. White has praised Clark's ability to learn complicated strategies very quickly, comparing her learning curve to that of a seasoned pro. Every practice shows a jump in understanding, a change in movement, and an increase in efficiency.
That's going to be a huge thing. I don't expect it to be her to be perfectly good going left and right at an equal rate next year. Don't expect her to shoot the same going right, or I don't expect her to drive the same going left. But it's like, it took LeBron till 2013 realistically to be able to drive drive at the same level left as right. So I don't expect that to happen to Caitlin Clark in a year, but if there's a bit of an improvement year on year, she's going to be even more and stuff.
This person isn't just a good player, they're a basketball genius in the making. With better power, unpredictability, and a system built around smart movement, Clark is no longer just the face of the team. She's becoming one of the most dangerous offensive threats the WNBA has ever seen. She's not just trying to make it through the tough parts of a professional season, she's getting ready to dominate them. And let's be honest, this kind of structured high IQ growth is very different from players like Angel Reese, whose Instagram reels are full of carefully edited clips of long-range bombs and mid-drill dance moves, as if being a content creator is somehow the same as working hard in the film room while Ree is chasing the algorithm. Clark wants to be great. One clear rep, one film lesson, and one sweaty practice at a time.
That is such a big thing to hear from Stephanie White, and it should calm people down a little bit when it comes to Caitlin Clark playing off the ball, because obviously if a coach has a plan and a vision and a proper plan and vision.
What's different, White? Coach. She's not into empty hype or chasing news. What she wants to do is, with Clark as its cornerstone, she's building a system and a player that can go head-to-head with anyone in the league. So if you thought last season was impressive, get ready for this version of Caitlin Clark. She's leaner, smarter, stronger, and much less predictable. When she steps back on the court, don't expect the same old moves. Get ready for fireworks. Get ready for Clark 2.0. If you're ready to see her light up the league, leave a comment saying "Fired up for CC" and let the WNBA know that the real show is just beginning. Sign up for notifications and don't miss a thing. Click the movie to watch it, and we'll see you next time.